All right, hi, I'm Jason Allen. I'm the editor on the PSP channel, and I'm the one who reviewed Metal Gear Acid and the one who acquired a lot of enemies after that. Turn-based video games can be fun. There's plenty of them out there that are fun and that appeal to a wide audience. There are breakthrough turn-based games. Just because somebody dings a turn-based game doesn't necessarily mean that they're biased to turn-based games. Nevertheless, with Metal Gear Acid, the rules of the game are very dry and they don't help build momentum. They don't help you attach yourself to really what's going on. But I do have some things to say that are good about the game, but I'd also like to point out and defend the reasons why I find the flaws that I do find in the game. First off, let me just say that in terms of character design, environmental elements, graphical detail, the game is superb. I do enjoy just basic characterization is often enjoyable in a Metal Gear game. But what you do find in this game is a lack of some of those rich elements. You do miss out on the voice acting. That's something that could have been left in the game. It could have been set right next to the dialogue that you saw. It didn't have to be just all text. It was a choice, but I think gamers who ended up playing the game and might not have played the other Metal Gear titles is going to miss out on a lot of that voice acting in a typical Metal Gear game. But again, I'm not saying that it had to be the Metal Gear console games. I'm just saying there are certain details that we enjoy, and something like that could have been put in this game, but it wasn't. It was left out. Okay, there's one thing. And then let's say here's the choice to make it a card game. As you can see, things are very strict in terms of what you're looking at is like a game board. It's like a chessboard. Characters move according to the little numbers you see and the cards that pop up on your screen. That's what determines your movements. Certain times in certain situations, things get drawn out or pushed way longer than they should. This could have been a card game that could have been revolutionary. It didn't have to be an action game to impress me. It didn't have to be anything else other than a good, solid game. But as you can see, as characters are filing in from other parts of the stage, we have to watch their movements get counted out by the cards that they have in their collection. So you get your turn, your other character that you're controlling gets her turn, and then the turns of the other enemies are calculated. Now I can see why you'd want to see the calculation of the movements of the enemies that are an immediate threat to you, but the characters way beyond you are all calculated as well. Sometimes there are 4 or 5 different enemies whose moves you're seeing calculated that aren't directly impacting you at the given time. Why should I have to see that? Why can't I just deal with the immediate threats? That right there could have tightened up the gameplay. These are just loose ends that necessarily didn't have to abide by any strict card game rule. This could have been a card game with impressive revolutionary elements that could have been more proactive, more engaging, but the experience is stretched out by abiding by these strict rules of having to see every calculation counted on the given game board. In terms of the multiplayer elements, it's very frustrating on several occasions because there are many exceptions to the rules of what you have going on in a multiplayer Wi-Fi game. As you can see, the yellow dots indicate your field of vision. So in other words, if a character is standing on one of the given squares with a single yellow dot, you're supposed to be able to see that person. But there are like 3 different variations of that rule that will prevent you from seeing somebody that's directly in front of you. There are certain times where you'll be standing and one of the soldiers that you're hunting will shoot you or will be shooting your opponent and you can't see them. On several occasions, you can't see soldiers that are right in front of you. Sometimes it'll be your turn and you'll be shot and you think that you should be able to run over there and kill one of the enemies, but you can't, and it's frustrating. It's kind of convoluted and it doesn't quite add up. It doesn't really meld well in the logic of the game. So both you and your opponent are sitting there scratching your head trying to figure out what's happening. Choosing to make the multiplayer just a sterile VR mode battle session, in some ways it could have worked if there weren't so many convoluted exceptions to the rules and trying to find people, but there was so much more potential in terms of playing out the stages with, you know, a partner, you being Snake and your partner being the girl. That would have been just as fine, but it just kind of seemed like a missed opportunity. This is definitely a game that would probably appeal to the hardcore, very hardcore card gamers. But again, this is probably one of those games that won't be a breakthrough. It won't grab new gamers. It won't grab new attention outside of the fact that it's a Metal Gear title. But take out the fact that it's Metal Gear and it's not a very engaging game. It's not captivating. It doesn't necessarily grab you or make you want to sit down and play some more.